Here is a barn fresh Aqua-Master from Aqualung. If you know anything about double hose regulators, it was a two-stage, and you can see that this one's in pretty rough shape. It's a lot of corrosion. Don't have it apart yet, but I suspect the inside's going to be in pretty bad shape. There's the hookah port, and this is probably a 1958 or 59 because it has the Pico Boulevard, and you see on the screw that it doesn't have the Aqualung logo on it. So old regulator here, but we're going to get this thing going. First thing we got to do is take these 7 clips off and get the cans apart. So we'll do that next. The best tool that I've found for taking these clips off is a pair of vice grips, and you want to pull them from the yoke side. And this tool right here works about as good as anything that I've tried. I know some people use screwdrivers, but I like the vice grips. Now that we've got the clips off, we can separate the 2 cans and see what the inside looks like. It's not hard to get that off. Looks fairly clean inside. I'm surprised. The horseshoe works for the second stage there. This is the main diaphragm, and very seldom are these main diaphragms bad. You can reuse most of them. Most of them that I've worked on, they could have been reused. I put silicone ones, new silicone diaphragms in some. But here's the problem. The duckbill exhaust, and this thing is toast. It's harder than a rock. So that will be replaced. It'll get a new duckbill. Start taking everything apart here now and get everything ready to go into the ultrasonic cleaner to clean everything. You don't have to have an ultrasonic cleaner. There's the dust cap. And then take the screw out of the yoke, and then under the yoke is the high pressure nozzle. It takes a 1-inch wrench to do that. There's where your filter and everything is at. A lot of things to take off and take apart on this. Just take the 1-inch wrench, and some of these are a little bit hard. That never wasn't too bad to get loose, to get started. And then you just screw all of that out, and then you'll have your high pressure nozzle where you can start taking it apart. And like I say, I'm going to put all of this in a mixture, half vinegar, half water. And there's the high pressure nozzle. We'll take it apart in a minute. It's got several parts in it. And then that sets on the high pressure diaphragm. That pin will come out of that, and we'll get all that cleaned up. And then we're ready then to take the horseshoe and the second stage out. You've got 2 screws. The service kit will come with new screws, and so you don't have to really worry about damaging these, although I have reused some of these. Not any problem with it. And this will take the 2 posts loose that hold the horseshoe there. And like I say, just getting everything apart, getting it ready to clean. There's one of the posts. I'll show you when we start to go back together with it. It has a notch that keeps the venturi in place. And so now let's take this out, which holds the low pressure seat in it. And these normally are just finger tight, because I'll show you when we start to go back together with it, but you want one of the holes pointing out the nozzle there. That's what creates the venturi and assist with the breathing. You know, 1958 was the year that they came up with the whole concept of Venturi, and the Aqua-Master and the Mistral both had that. There's your low pressure seat. You'll take it out. We'll take that thing completely apart in a moment. Now you need a spanner tool to take the ring off, and then that will disengage it from the can. And these are, sometimes they're a little hard. That is not. Come out pretty easy. Got started pretty easy. Once you turn it just a little bit, then you can screw that out by hand. And then the whole assembly will just come out of the back of the can itself. Can doesn't look too bad. It'll look a lot better when it's cleaned up, though. Then you've got the large gasket that will be replaced. That comes in the kit as well. And then the high pressure seat. This screw right here that you take the Allen wrench and take it out. That's what you adjust the intermediate pressure with. And once we get it all back together, I'll show you how you do that with a pressure gauge. And then you get that set, and then you get your second stage set for the easiest breathing, shortest travel without leaking. All this looks pretty good. Now there is a seat right under all of that, so we've got to take that out. That's an 1/8" wrench. Sometimes these can be a little tight, but this one wasn't. I soaked some of this to get the screws and everything loose to where I didn't have to waste time on the video doing all that. That looks good. And then there is another gasket in here. It will come with the kit as well. Go ahead and take it out. We'll replace it. And then here is your high pressure seat. You just take your Allen wrench, it's the best thing I found, and just push it out. They're difficult to get out, but that will come with the new kit as well. Like I said, we're going to replace just about all of this. And then you got your hookah port cap. Takes an 11/16 wrench. They can be difficult. I'd already broke this one loose prior to starting to disassemble everything. I want you to look at the corrosion in there. Now here is where an ultrasonic cleaner is good, because it gets in all those hard to reach recesses. It will clean all of that out. So we're just about ready then to take all of these parts and put them in the solution, put them in the ultrasonic cleaner, and start cleaning them up, and then get ready to reassemble and get our Aqua-Master all serviced. And now we're ready to disassemble the high pressure nozzle. Take your snap ring pliers, remove the circlip on top, and then you'll have a filter under that. There's two filters on this. Only supposed to be one filter and a spacer. We'll put a new filter and spacer in when we put it back together. And then you have your spring castle, and that's brass. You take it out, and below it will be the spring. Take it out, and then below it will be the seat. Take it out. Be careful on cleaning this, because it has to seat on the volcano orifice, which is in the very bottom of the high pressure nozzle. So we're ready to start cleaning the high pressure nozzle. Now we're ready to take the low pressure seat holder apart. You see the seat there in the bottom. You'll replace that. I've got a poppet tool, 4-slotted poppet tool that I use for this. You don't have to have this. You can simply put a wrench on the bottom and hold that to unscrew the nut, but I've got the tool, so why not use it? And then you take a 1/4" wrench, take the nut off, be careful when you're taking the nut off because there's a washer underneath and you don't want to lose that. Take a turn or two, and then normally these will just come off by hand. And I'll show you on the washer when we go back into assembly on that. There's a certain way that goes back on. And then you take the seat holder out of the carrier. And there's a lot of corrosion in that. That's okay. We'll get all that cleaned up. Then you take the spring off. And you've got the carrier and the seat itself. I go ahead and take my brass pick and take the seat out where I can clean this real good. This comes in the kit and you'll get a new one. And once you get all that done, you're ready for all this to go into the cleaning process and get ready for reassembly. I've got about half of my parts in my ultrasonic cleaner. You don't have to have one of these units, but it sure does make it easier. I use a mixture of 50-50 water and vinegar, and it does a really good job. You just have to watch the chrome parts and not leave them in there too long, or the vinegar and water solution will start to take the chrome off. Now, if you've got some pitting in it, it's probably going to take pieces off anyway. There's not much you can do about that. But it is a great way to clean this regulator. It gets in places where you can't get and does a really good job of cleaning. Here are the parts out of the ultrasonic cleaner with the 50-50 water vinegar solution. And you see that they turned out really nice. The cans do have a little bit of flaking around where the hoses go on, but hoses will cover that up. So all in all, it's a great job of cleaning.